So much of who we are as people is formed during our childhood, especially during our early years. While there are tons of factors that go into the psychological soup that is our personality, arguably one of the most important ingredients comes from our parents and the way that they treat us. For instance, how our parents reward or punish certain behaviours subtly or not so subtly shapes our beliefs about what is acceptable, desirable, or shameful. And this was generally well demonstrated in Batman Beyond with characters like Willie Watt, Melanie from the Royal Flush Gang, and the subject of today's video, Terminal, being warped by the way their parents treated them. Terminal made his only appearance in the episode Hidden Agenda. At first glance, Carter Wilson had it all. He was popular, an athlete, and one of the smartest kids in school with damn near perfect grades. But his home life was quite different. He wasn't physically abused, but his mother was cold, and nothing he did was ever good enough. She believed she was pushing him to be the best of the best, but in reality it made him feel shame, and shame is a powerful emotion. It sometimes is referred to as the master emotion, a silent puppeteer pulling the strings of identity, behaviour, and belonging. Unlike guilt, which says, "I did something bad," shame whispers, "I am bad." And that distinction makes it one of the most powerful, primal, and paralysing emotional forces we face. In Carter's case, when he got the second highest score in the school GAT tests, his mother congratulated him for being the best loser. And you can see how this tears him up inside. This usually confident young man who always seemed to have a smile on his face shrinks in his mother's presence. He can barely look her in the eye. He's made to feel so ashamed for merely being near perfect. These negative feelings she instilled in him had pretty much the opposite impact of what she intended, because Carter had a secret. He was a member of the Jokerz gang, a group of disenchanted youth who took inspiration from the long-deceased clown prince of crime. Their only goal was to cause chaos and have fun, regardless of who they hurt. His Joker identity, Terminal, shared many attributes with Carter. He was clever and good with computers, but he was calculating and cruel. While he has a group of Jokers that follow him around, he doesn't seem to care for them that much. When one of the crew challenges his authority, Terminal holds him over the edge of a building, making it clear that he holds his life in his hands. They are pawns that serve his agenda, not his friends. As Terminal, Carter decides that the only way he can avenge himself is to kill the person that got a score higher than him, Maxine Gibson. This episode mostly served as an introduction to Max, who would go on to be one of Batman's confidants after she developed a computer program to deduce who Batman was. After the Jokers vandalized the school, Max turned her program towards finding students who were potentially Jokers. It initially pointed the finger of blame at Terry, which made sense given how he was hardly ever around falling asleep in class, and running off just as trouble kicked off. But that's a topic to talk about in a separate video. Carter was jealous of Max's brilliance, and so he weaponized his gang of Jokers to try to wipe the records. But when he sees that Max is the frontrunner for valedictorian that year, he sees red. Rather than studying harder or just accepting the fact that he was damn near perfect, he instead decided to try to kill her out of jealousy and shame. He attempted to harm her with an explosive pie hidden in her locker, reprogrammed cleaning robots armed with acid, before confronting her at the park. Fortunately, Batman was on hand to deal with Terminal and the Jokers, and Max dunked him in the fountain, washing off his disguise. Max was crestfallen to find her tormentor was someone she knew, and most shockingly, someone she had never suspected. He wasn't even a potential candidate from her program's list. As Carter was sent to prison, we're shown his supposed friends mocking him, saying how they always knew he was a loser. With friends like that, is it any wonder he acted the way he did? While Terminal only appeared in one episode of Batman Beyond, he returned in the official tie-in comics Batman Beyond Volume 2, Issue 12, in a story called Terminal Velocity. We see that Carter has been enrolled in a group therapy program while in juvenile detention, and the psychiatrist, Dr. Sheridan, determined that Terminal was an alternate personality that was brought on from stress. As part of his treatment, Carter was encouraged to shoot a mannequin made to look like Terminal to purge that personality from his mind. During a prison riot, Carter protected Dr. Sheridan, which showed Batman that perhaps he really had changed and he should be given the benefit of the doubt. The courts thought so too, granting him early release for his act of heroism. You can see the delight on Carter's face. He genuinely thinks he can go back to his old life, but reality was much harsher. Most of the students didn't want anything to do with him. The only people to show him any form of acceptance were Terry and Max. And he didn't want to fall back in with the Jokerz. However, the Jokerz weren't done with Carter. His former friends kidnapped Dr. Sheridan and Max at the behest of Terminal, who wanted to lure in Batman and Carter. So the interesting thing here is that by trying to expunge Terminal, Carter really made things worse for himself. He hadn't killed Terminal, he caused him to break off into an entirely independent personality. The thing that brought Terminal out was the application of the face paint. In order to defeat Terminal, Batman smeared half of the makeup on his face, allowing both Carter and Terminal to exist at the same time. Carter was horrified by what Terminal was doing, and the two fought to a standstill. Batman was entirely sympathetic towards Carter. Yes, he was Terminal, but he didn't want to be. But for now, they were two personalities inhabiting the same body, and the issue ended with Carter in treatment, with half of his face painted like Terminal. You may find yourself wondering why Carter would allow Terminal to be out in the open, but I suspect he believed it would be better to have Terminal be visible so that he could keep an eye on him. Obvious parallels can be drawn between this take on Terminal and the classic Batman villain Two-Face. Both of their psychological problems were rooted in feelings of shame and embarrassment. Harvey Dent's illness came about after he defended himself from a school bully and believed he had really harmed him, while Carter's shame came from never feeling like he was good enough, that he was inherently bad. It's an interesting angle to take with the character, and certainly one way of having a Two-Face beyond without literally duplicating him or having him be Harvey Dent's son, like a lesser writer probably would have done. It was a smart move to take the root cause of the villain, namely the personality disorder formed by shame, and apply it in a different way. It's just a shame that the mainline comics seemed to completely ignore this when they adapted him. During the Rebirth era of Batman Beyond comics, Terminal was the main villain of the first storyline. It was a pretty convoluted plot, and I've talked in the past about how much I don't really like these comics, but I'll try to summarise it as best as I can. During a crossover called Future's End, Neo-Gotham was decimated in a conflict that claimed the life of elderly Bruce Wayne and eventually Terry McGinnis. This led to a time-travelling Tim Drake becoming the new Batman of the future, which I think we can all agree was a big misstep by DC. In the Rebirth era, they set out to correct these mistakes. Terry McGinnis returned to face off against Terminal and his army of Jokerz. Terminal had gained control of this force by claiming to be in possession of the Joker's comatose body, and he planned to revive him. In reality, Terminal had painted a non-deceased Bruce Wayne up to look like the Joker and planned to steal his fortune from him, as well as a highly advanced piece of tech that frankly I don't have the willpower to get into. However, the final part of the story revealed that the real Joker had been lurking in the background the whole time, working as Terminal's assistant, and he didn't take kindly to Terminal using his name in vain. The Joker beat Terminal close to death with a crowbar and left him at death's door in the wilderness. Terminal did not appear again. We can't say with 100% certainty that he really is dead. This is comic books after all, where the dead have a nasty habit of coming back to life when we least expect it. Note that there was no hint of a dissociative identity disorder in this comic book version of Terminal. He was simply a selfish guy looking to make himself rich. Even if you only have a basic knowledge of Batman Beyond, it should be clear that these comics are not in the same continuity as the show. Terminal's characterization aside, the Joker's death was completely different. He was crushed by a train, not shot by an insane Tim Drake. Similarly, the people that worked on them had nothing to do with the cartoon, so they shouldn't be confused. I know that regular viewers of my channel will know this by now, but I periodically get comments from people talking about the events from these comics as if they were a continuation of the show. For better or for worse, these are not. The earlier tie-in comics written by Hilary J. Bader, however, absolutely should be considered canon, considering she wrote almost a fifth of the show's episodes, and most importantly, she wrote Hidden Agenda, the episode that introduced Terminal. In those stories, Carter Wilson isn't just a knockoff Two-Face or a Joker groupie, he's a cautionary tale, a reminder of what shame can do when it festers unchecked, when the pressures to be perfect turn inward and rots the foundation of a person's identity. He's a character whose villainy wasn't born from greed or power, but from a desperate, painful yearning to be seen as good enough. Batman Beyond rarely gave its villains multiple chances at redemption. But through Hilary Bader's tie-in comic, Terminal got that chance and fumbled it. Not because he didn't want to be better, but because his trauma was never truly dealt with. And that's the sad thing about Terminal. Beneath the face paint, the plans and the bravado, there was just a boy who never felt loved. He tried very hard to convince everyone else that he was this devious mastermind, but really it was all for show. He was trying to convince himself he was worthy just as much as he was trying to convince his mother. And if there's one thing Gotham has taught us, it's that unloved boys often grow into dangerous men. Okay, that's it for this week's essay. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell all your friends about me. You know how YouTube works. If you really enjoyed the video and have the means, please consider making use of the thanks button to send $1 or $2 my way, because every little helps. I offer channel memberships for $1.99 a month. This will get you early access to my weekly video essay, priority responses to your comments, members-only videos, custom emojis, and an icon on your profile indicating that you're one of my people. And special thanks to my channel members. Everyone who was a member at the time of this video's creation is listed on the screen right now. If you want to see your name amongst all these wonderful people, join the channel now. Next time, I'll be back on Friday to look back at a memorable villain from the early days of Batman the Animated Series who preyed on Gotham's vulnerable orphan children. It's time to talk about the Sewer King. And next Monday I want to talk about the character of Harley Quinn and her delusional relationship with the Joker, as seen in the new Batman Adventures episode, Mad Love. Hope to see you then.